Hello, welcome back to this channel. We are going to continue with our C++ course. Today we are going to learn C++ variables and literals and even constants. C++ variables, literals, and constant. We're going to see what this means and how we can use them. First of all, we start by understanding what a variable is. We can wonder what is a variable. A variable is a container or a storage to hold data. But in the case of the computer, this is a space in the memory where you can store data. For example, if this is a memory, in the memory I can have the space, and this space is a space in the memory, and in this space I can hold, I can put a value that is a variable. For example, if this is a variable of the name, maybe whatever, which can hold integer values, I can put, for example, 10. Now it means this space in the memory is holding 10. But sometimes later I can remove 10 and put another value. So this is a space which can accept, which can hold some values. So this is what we call a variable. It is a container or a space in the memory which can hold or store some values. So each variable should be given a unique name. So it means this space should be given a unique name. I think this is easy to understand. The unique name, the purpose of the unique name is to identify the variables, because the variables can be different. So a variable is a container, it must have a unique name, that is an identifier. For example, if I say here this variable maybe is A, and now that is the name is A. So if I say this one, it stores integers. Now in C++ I can use this keyword int to say, now I create my variable which is called A. It can hold or store integer values. That is it. For example, now in this context, if I try to declare this one, I will say, for example, the example I gave now, I say int A equal to 10. So now this means I created a variable called, I declared the variable called A. I assign the value 10 to this variable A, and the value 10 must be an integer, because my variable is able to hold only integer values. I mean that. Now there are some rules. We said that a variable must have an identifier. It must have an identifier, or must have a unique name. But you don't give a name and you don't give it anyhow. So there must be some rules to name these variables. What are the rules to name for naming variables? So there must be some rules to name these variables. So what are the rules for naming the variables? First of all, the variable name must only have alphabets, numbers, and underscore. That is what, okay? That is what it can have. It can have alphabets, numbers, and underscore. The name can have this. Okay? A variable name cannot begin with a number. Cannot begin with a number. That is a very important rule. It cannot begin with a number. For example, now let us say example here. Here I can say, give an example of variable name. For example, if I say maybe n1, it's okay. This one is okay. This one is okay. I can also say, for example, it can also have an underscore. For example, maybe number, maybe n1. This is okay. This is a correct variable name, because it can also have an underscore. It can even begin with an underscore. It is possible. I can have another variable, for example, underscore, maybe n1. It is possible. The one doesn't. I can say underscore n. This is also possible. This is a valid variable name. But it cannot begin with a number. Now, if I say, for example, something like this, I say maybe 1n. So this one is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. The variable name cannot start with a number. I cannot say maybe 5, even if I say I put an underscore, for example, 5n, this is wrong. This is completely wrong. It's not possible to have a variable of this, a variable name which starts with a number. So a variable name should not begin with an upper case character. That is the conversion. It should not begin with an uppercase character. For programmers, though, this is very, very important. Another thing is that the variable name, these are some of the rules, should not begin, I'm saying a variable name should not begin with an uppercase character. That is another rule. It cannot be a keyword. It cannot be a keyword because, for example, main. If we say main is a keyword in C++. So you cannot create a variable name and call it main. That is not okay. You cannot create a variable and call it int. For example, int. This is going to be an error because int is a keyword which has some specific purpose in C++. So a variable name can start with an underscore. That is what I said. So, and a variable name should be meaningful. Should have meaningful names. Should have meaningful names. For example, if you create a variable name and call it fn, that is not good. Of course it can run, but it's not good. But for example, if I say example fn, instead of saying fname and first name, you see fn can run, yes, as a variable name, but this one is not a good thing. It's better, maybe you say, instead of fn, you can say first underscore name. So this one is meaningful. This one, not meaningful. But this one here is meaningful. So now this one is better than this. Although this will not cause any problem, it will run, of course, but this one is better for readability and for reference, and for people who will use this program later, they can easily know what this variable was about. That is about variable naming conventions. Now let us see what you call literals. What are the literals? C++ literals. Remember, this part is about variable names, so we are talking about variables, C++ variables. That's one here. Then we are going to say to introduce C++ literals. The literals are actually some data these are data used to represent some fixed values. What are literals? Literals are data used for representing some fixed values. For example, if we say 1, 2.5, and so on, these are the fixed values. So to represent this one, now the data used to represent this one are called the literals. Literals can include integers, for example 9, 0, -9, 22, and so on. Some floating numbers, for example 2.0, this number, and this number to power 10 to times 10 to power minus 5, and so on. So literals can be characters. For example, this is a character, this is a character, this is a character, this is a character. You see here 2 is in a single quote. Now it is a character. It's no longer a number, and so on. This is 1 has been represented. This is a literal. Everything which is fixed that's as a value. Now this here there are now some characters. They are also literals. Something also called like a escape sequence, like this one. When you receive when we use in a program, we shall see this \n what it does, and so on. And this is for putting the tab, and this is for putting a backspace. Maybe let me explain from the example we did in a previous maybe you shall see this not now. We shall see this in other programs, because the other one was introduced in the previous course, and it might not be easy unless you visit the previous course. You can understand. But we are going to use this one in the other coming programs. So these are what we call literals. After this, let's see what are constants. C++ constants. The constants in C++ are the variables whose values cannot be changed. This one are the variables whose values cannot be changed. Now we use const keyword when we are declaring these variables. We use const keyword to say this one will not change throughout the program. An example here. For example, I can say I want to declare this one, example, constant, example. If I say const int is the integer variable I want to create. Now light speed is the name of the variable, which of the type integer. It can store integer values. Now it is constant. Because I say it's constant, I'm going to give it a value. The value will be used whenever I use light speed. This will be the value, and I cannot change this one. I cannot change this one in the code. It will remain constant. So constant means something that doesn't change. This is all about variables, literals, and constants. So now that the variables are the containers or the storage or the spaces in the memory where you can store values. We also saw the literals are the data used to present some fixed values. For example, if we put this one, these numbers, and so on, these are called the literals. And the constants are the variable whose value cannot be changed in the program. The value, for example, pi, the value of pi remains constant, doesn't change, and so on. The speed of the light is constant, doesn't change. The one we know. So this is how we create the variable, and it create the variable which is constant. Thank you for following this module. We shall continue with other modules in the coming sessions. Thank you very much.